I caught for some eternal eye the sudden kingfisher flashing into a darkling pool. He is describing his companions. He is describing pride of lions. He has described deer. He is describing now the kingfisher catching a fish suddenly. I caught for some eternal eye the sudden kingfisher. It comes and zooms around and picks up his prey. Flashing into a darkling pool. Darkling in the evening becomes dark sun. Now this is a very beautiful line. I caught for some eternal eye the sudden kingfisher. The line is overflowing. You see here the description is overflowing from the first line to the second line. Eternal eye, the sudden kingfisher. It goes on with that. You have to read both together. Sudden kingfisher. It brings a suddenness, the sweep with which the bird catches the fish. That is the power of his swiftness, which is kind of that enjama is very powerful here. See, running line, one line flowing into the other line, enjama. I caught a sudden, some eternal eye, the sudden kingfisher, flashing to the darkling pool. Now this line vertically is also a very beautiful line. I caught for some eternal eye. We have got 4 I's. I caught for some eternal eye. The sudden, it is in amphibrat. Short, long, short, amphibrat. The poetic technique gives you a thrust to move to the next line. The sudden kingfisher, kingfish, that is trochee. You see, after amphibrat, there is a trochee. Fisher flash into a dark pool. That is how the material goes. Sudden kingfisher flash into a dark pool. It becomes darksome in the evening. And then a slow swan silvering the azure lake. So there is the pride of lion, there are deer, there is kingfisher, now the swan, a slow swan silvering the azure lake, the blue lake is there, and a white swan is floating on that. A shape of magic whiteness sailed through dreams. Leaves trembling with the passion of the wind, and wandering wings nearing from infinity to reverse and coming from some other sky, from some other place, from infinity. Wandering wings nearing from infinity lived on the tablets of my inner sight. This is the plate on which these birds are living. The inscription is there on my inner sight, all those birds coming from infinity. Live in the tablets of my inner sight. Mountains and trees stood there like thoughts from God. So all these objects which are there here in nature, they are nothing but the thoughts of God. It is in their company that I have lived. And then he says, frank butterflies, the ostentatious butterflies, very colorful, jumping from one flower to the other flower. Frank butterflies, the conscious flower of air, so they have become conscious flower of air, the butterflies. The brilliant longbills in their vivid dress, so the colorful bird longbill. That is described. The peacock scattering with the breeze his moons, painted by memory like a frescoed wall. So here's first is talking about tablet. Already the inner side sees something written. Now this is a frescoed wall. Always all these birds are there. Flying butterflies, brilliant longbill, peacocks scattering the moons. These are things we see around here. And then he says further, I carved my vision out of wood and stone. He is a sculptor. So he's given a piece of wood or a stone and is carving his vision on that. I caught the echoes of a word supreme. He's a poet also. He catches the word. And metered the rhythm bass of infinity. I knew the chanda, the meter, the beat. I knew them. And metered the rhythm bass of infinity. and listen to music for the eternal voice. So it is not the ordinary music which I hear. Behind that music, embedded in that music, is the eternal voice. It is that eternal voice which I listen in music. I felt a covered touch. I heard a call, but could not clasp the body of my God. Yes, everywhere nature is there, infinity is there. I see beautiful things all around. Infinities, rhythm, movements, all of them are there. But I am unable to clasp the body of God. All those spiritual things are there, but could not clasp the body of my God. Where is He physically present? Or hold between my hand the World Mother's feet. Yes, I would like to go and clasp her feet and offer my worship to her. That I am not able to do. She is not here around. Beautiful nature is there. It's okay. But where is the mother? She is not there. I would like to clasp the body of God. This is what I have been missing in my life here until now. In men I have made strange portions of a self that sought for fragment, and in fragments lived. Each lived in himself and for himself alone, and with the rest joined only fleeting tie. Each passion over his surface joy and grief, nor saw the eternal in his secret house. That is equity. Each man here, yes, he is living in his own loneliness, but there is no passion for the eternal, that eternal should come and live in his house. That is what I miss here. Where do I go and clasp my mother? She is not here around here in his house. I converse with nature, muse with the changeless stars, God's watchfires burning in the ignorant night, God's watchfires burning in the ignorant night. That is the stars of the night. I have been watching them. And saw upon a mighty visage fall a ray prophetic of the eternal sun. Sometimes I see, even on this nature, a prophetic ray falling here. And then he says, I sat with the forest sages. There are rishis here around. There are great economic, spiritual people around here. I sat with them. I have been with them here. They are poured awakening streams of diamond light. I claim the presence of the One in all. Claim the presence of the One in all. That is the great Vedantic experience this boy is already having in the company of those spiritual rishis, in the company of that nature, with that association, with that identity with nature. He has already the experience of the presence of the One in all. Now that is a great experience already Satyavan is having. I claim the presence of the One in all. Now, One in all is of course one aspect of it. There has to be also the aspect of all in one. He is not speaking of all in one. It is that which is not there at the moment. One in all, yes, I see everywhere. The self, everywhere, is all pervasive. It's a great Vedantic experience. But still, there lacked the last transcendent power. And matter still slept empty of its Lord. Yes, spirit is there everywhere. But matter is not in possession of its Lord. Lord should come and possess. I am not able to clasp the body of God. Matter, where God should be present, in that matter God is not there. That is what I am missing so far. The spirit was saved, the body lost and mute. In a word, he is showing the sharpness of the spirit and matter as being separate. The dichotomy which is there between spirit and matter. All great spiritual things I have, but what about matter? Is matter, this material world, for nothing? Does it not have a purpose to serve here? And matter still slept empty of its Lord. Matter must awake to the will of the Lord and express the will of the Lord. Must house the Lord. The spirit was saved. Obviously, I am mukta, I am free, I am liberated. but the body is lost and mute. What happens to the physical? Physical is abundant. That is my tragedy, my shortcoming. The spirit was saved, the body is lost and mute. Live still with death and ancient ignorance. The inconscient was its base, the void is fate. That is what has happened to matter, to the body, the physical. He is already heading towards something which will bring solution to this matter. He is in search of that thing. He is in quest of it. He is not getting it. Nature, yes. The spiritual people, yes, yes, yes. I got the experience of one in all, yes, yes, yes. But what about the other experience? That is missing. But thou hast come, and all will surely change. That is the greatness of Shivan's poetry. Yes, Savitri has come. Where is the solution? Where is the link? Where is the connection? Who is the golden bridge between spirit and matter? That was missing. Spirit, I have seen that matter was left unattended. But you have come, you will build up a ladder between spirit and matter. You are the bridge. Thou hast come. And all will surely change. So he has already the confidence. Now, where from that knowledge has come to him? He is, of course, already a spiritual person. He is already an awakened man. He has spiritual realization of one and all. But that knowledge is not going to give him this thing that Savitri will also bring, the other greatness which he is seeking for. This knowledge, thou hast come and all will surely change. This knowledge has come to him because the power of love which got awakened in him. The moment he says Savitri. The moment he says Savitri, the power of love got awakened in him. Not his spiritual realization, not his spiritual experiences. Yes, 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 they are all there. But suddenly he sees that, yes, here is a person who will really fulfill the other part of my life. And that knowledge has come to her because the power of love got awakened in his soul. And it is that which is expressing it. Thou hast come and all will surely change, surely change. You see, that definiteness comes out of that concreteness of love, power of love. I shall feel the world mother in thy golden limb and hear her wisdom in thy sacred voice. When you speak, I will hear her voice. And then he says, the child in the void shall be reborn in God. The child in the void shall be reborn in God. This is the great utterance he is making, perhaps without knowing what he is speaking, in a way. The child of the void shall be reborn in God. My matter shall evade the inconscient trance. All along my matter was asleep to its Lord, but now we shall wait that. My body, like my spirit, shall be free. Yes, my body also will be mukta, shall be free, the way my spirit is. I shall escape from death and ignorance. Now, it is not kind of a premonition that he shall escape from death and ignorance. Of course, he is going to die. But it is not that he is talking. He is talking of the power of universal death under whose grip Satyavan is. Satyavan is the grip of death. Satyavan is the soul carrying the divine truth of being within itself, but descended into the grip of death and ignorance. Descended into the grip of death and ignorance. So that intrinsic knowledge is there in him because he has descended into the grip of death and ignorance. Exactly the same phrase we have got here. Escape from death and ignorance. I am in the grip of death and ignorance. But you have come now and I shall escape that. Savitri has come. It is Savitri who will conquer death and free Satyavan from the grip of death and ignorance. He is already seeing that thing. Now, this is what we were talking last time. The child, the void, shall be reborn in God. Child, the void, he is Satyavan, the permanent avatar, we have seen, Martanda in the Vedic story. And it is he who will be reborn in God. He will be saved from mortality. He is there. He is the permanent avatar. When the divine powers went far away from divine and the horror of separation was seen, as you have seen, the mother's praise, the horror of separation, when it was seen, then the divine himself plunged into the void. Plunged into the void. He has become a permanent avatar in the void. And he is the child of the void. Satyavan is the child of the void. The mother says, he is the permanent avatar in the void. And he shall be reborn in God. His birth will be now in God. He has been in the grip of death. He has been there in the void at the beginning of the whole thing, the entire creation. The other phrase, other description is, according to the Indian Puranas, the description of Vishnu in the void. Vishnu in the void. The inconscient Vishnu is called inconscient Vishnu. And he is sleeping on a 1,000-headed serpent. All the energies are condensed and they are forming the couch for him, and on that couch Vishnu is sleeping. He is permanently there. It's a very perfect description. In other words, the divine being has stationed himself there with his power supporting him there in the inconscience. And it is out of that he has to wake up and carry the evolution forward. The evolution has to be carried. All of the energies has to wake up. And then that inconscient Vishnu will be reborn as true Vishnu. God, reborn in God. Satyavan will have new birth, new creation will begin with that. So all these mythological stories, the Puranic stories, they have a kind of a coherence in their description and in their vision also everywhere. It is the same kind of a thing here. So the child, the voice shall be reborn in God. It shall escape from death and ignorance. My body shall escape from death and ignorance. That is the work of transformation. And how it is going to be done? How it is going to be done? Because thou hast come and all will surely change. The work of transformation, yes, it is you who will do it. You have come and it will be accomplished.